Your dogs are going absolutely insane at 2:30 a.m., barking with that vicious intensity that only means one thing. Strangers are on your property. You look out your window and your blood runs cold. Headlights are cutting through your back pasture, moving fast, and they just drove straight through your locked gate like it wasn't even there. This isn't some lost tourist or broken down motorist. This is deliberate. This is planned. And you're about to face every rural property owner's worst nightmare. You're 40 acres from your nearest neighbor, 20 minutes from the sheriff on a good day, and whoever just invaded your land knows exactly how isolated you are. Your heart is pounding as you realize the terrifying math. They chose your property specifically because help can't reach you in time. They're counting on you being defenseless. They're betting that by the time anyone responds to your 911 call, they'll be long gone. And so might you. But here's the life or death decision you're facing right now. The gun that works great for your buddy in suburbia is completely useless when threats are 200 yards away and closing fast. Choose wrong, and you'll watch helplessly as they get close enough to hurt your family. Choose right, and you can stop this before it becomes a tragedy. Now, before we dive into this critical topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're about to cover some life-saving information that every rural property owner needs to know. Here's what most people don't realize. Rural property defense isn't just about stopping a threat at your front door. You're dealing with vast distances, multiple access points, livestock to protect, and scenarios that city folks never have to consider. The firearm that's perfect for apartment living might leave you completely defenseless on 50 acres of farmland. We're going to break down the 3 best firearm categories for rural property defense, examine the unique challenges of protecting large properties, and help you figure out which option makes the most sense for your specific situation and local laws. The rural reality. Let's start by talking about what makes your rural property defense so different from suburban home defense. When you live in town, you're worried about someone breaking into your house. When you live on a rural property, you're worried about someone breaking onto your land, and that changes everything. First, there's the distance factor. Your property line might be 200, 500, or even 1,000 yards from your house. A threat could be on your property long before they're close enough for a typical home defense firearm to be effective. You need something that can reach out and touch someone at distances that would make a shotgun or pistol completely useless. Second, there's the visibility issue. Rural properties often have limited lighting, thick vegetation, and terrain features that can hide intruders. You might need to identify and engage threats in low-light conditions across varied terrain. Third, there's the response time reality. When you call 911 from your downtown apartment, help might be there in 5 minutes. When you call from your rural property, you're looking at 20 to 45 minutes minimum. You're truly on your own for an extended period. And finally, there's the legal consideration. Many rural areas have different laws regarding the use of force to protect property versus just protecting life. You need to understand what's legal in your jurisdiction before you ever need to use it. Option 1. The shotgun, the versatile workhorse. Let's start with shotgun. And this might be the most versatile option for rural property defense. Now, I'm not talking about your typical home defense shotgun with an 18-inch barrel. For rural property, you want something with a longer barrel, 24 to 28 inches, that can handle multiple types of ammunition effectively. The beauty of a shotgun for rural defense is the ammunition versatility. You can load it with birdshot for warning shots or pest control, buckshot for serious threats at moderate distances, and slugs for longer range work or barrier penetration. It's like having 3 different guns in one platform. For rural property, the effective range of shotguns extends much further than most people think. With the right ammunition and a longer barrel, you're looking at effective ranges out to 75 to 100 yards with slugs and 40 to 50 yards with buckshot. That covers a lot of the scenarios you might face on rural property. The psychological factor is huge too. The sound of a shotgun being racked is universally understood, and the visual impact of a shotgun tends to end confrontations before they start. Most trespassers aren't looking for a fight. They're looking for easy targets. Shotguns are also relatively affordable and widely available. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to get a reliable platform that will serve you well for decades. Parts and ammunition are available everywhere, and most gun shops can service them. The downsides? Shotguns are limited in range compared to rifles. They have significant recoil that can be challenging for smaller frame shooters, and they typically hold fewer rounds than other options. The ammunition is also bulky and heavy, which matters if you need to carry extra rounds. But for many rural property owners, especially those dealing with livestock predators, trespassers, and general property security, a good shotgun might be all you need. Option 2. The rifle, the long-range solution. Now let's talk about rifles, and this is where rural property defense gets serious. When you're dealing with threats at 100, 200, or even 300 plus yards, a rifle is really your only viable option. The most popular choice for rural property defense is the modern sporting rifle platform. Think AR-15 style rifles. These offer several advantages for property defense. They're accurate at long range, have manageable recoil, offer high capacity, and are highly customizable for your specific needs. The effective range of a rifle extends your defensive perimeter dramatically. While a shotgun might be effective to 100 yards, a rifle can accurately engage targets at 300 plus yards. That means you can deal with threats while they're still far from your house, livestock, or family. Rifles also offer superior barrier penetration compared to shotguns or handguns. If someone is using your barn, equipment, or vehicles for cover, a rifle gives you options that other firearms don't. The modularity of modern rifles is another huge advantage. You can add optics for better target identification, lights for low-light situations, and other accessories that make the rifle more effective for your specific property and threats. Ammunition capacity is typically much higher with rifles. 20 to 30 rounds is standard, compared to the 5 to 8 rounds in most shotguns. When you're potentially dealing with multiple threats across a large property, that extra capacity matters. The downsides? Rifles are typically more expensive than shotguns, both for the firearm itself and the ammunition. They also require more training to use effectively at longer ranges. There are also legal considerations. Some areas have restrictions on certain types of rifles that don't apply to shotguns. Overpenetration can also be a concern with rifles, especially if you have neighbors or livestock in the area. You need to be very aware of what's beyond your target. But if your property is large, open, and you're dealing with threats at extended distances, a rifle might be your best option. Option 3. The handgun, the mobility champion. Now, handguns might seem like an odd choice for rural property defense, but hear me out. While they're not ideal for long-range threats, they excel in situations where mobility and quick deployment are critical. The biggest advantage of a handgun for rural property defense is that you can have it with you at all times. When you're out checking livestock, working in the barn, or doing other property maintenance, a handgun can be on your hip ready for immediate use. For close-range encounters, someone who's already made it to your barn, house, or immediate area, a handgun can be deployed much faster than a long gun. If you're surprised by an intruder at close range, the handgun's quick handling characteristics become crucial. Handguns are also much easier to maneuver in tight spaces. If you need to clear buildings, move through dense vegetation, or operate in confined areas, a handgun won't get caught on obstacles like a rifle or shotgun might. The ammo capacity of modern handguns has improved dramatically. Many current models hold 15 to 20 plus rounds, which gives you significant firepower in a compact package. Handguns are also the most portable option for property patrol. If you're riding an ATV, UTV, or horseback around your property, a handgun is much more practical than trying to manage a long gun. The major limitation is range. Handguns are generally effective to about 50 yards for most shooters, and that's being generous. Beyond that distance, accuracy drops off significantly, and stopping power becomes questionable. Handguns also require more training to use effectively than long guns. The shorter sight radius and single-point grip make them inherently less accurate and harder to shoot well under stress. But, as a backup to a primary long gun, or for situations where portability is key, a handgun fills an important role in rural property defense. The combination approach. Here's the reality that most rural property owners eventually figure out. You probably need more than one type of firearm to adequately defend a large property. Each category has strengths and weaknesses, and the best approach is often a combination. A common setup might be a rifle for long-range threats, a shotgun for versatile medium-range work, and a handgun for mobility and backup. This gives you options for different scenarios and distances. The key is understanding your property, your most likely threats, and your own capabilities. A 20-acre property with thick woods has different needs than a 200-acre ranch with open pastures. Legal considerations. Before we go any further, we need to talk about the legal aspects of rural property defense. Laws vary dramatically from state to state, and what's legal in Texas might land you in prison in California. Some states have strong castle doctrine laws that extend to your entire property. Others limit the use of deadly force to situations where life is in immediate danger. Some states allow the use of deadly force to protect property, while others don't. You absolutely must understand your local and state laws before you ever need to use a firearm for property defense. Consult with a local attorney who specializes in firearms law, and consider joining organizations that provide legal protection for lawful gun owners. The last thing you want is to successfully defend your property only to face criminal charges or civil lawsuits because you didn't understand the legal limitations. Training and preparation. Having the right firearm is only part of the equation. You need to train regularly with whatever you choose, and that training needs to be specific to your property and likely scenarios. Practice shooting at the distances you might actually encounter on your property. If your longest clear shot is 200 yards, practice at 200 yards. You might need to shoot in low light. Practice in low light. Consider taking tactical training courses that focus on property defense rather than just basic marksmanship. Learn how to move with your firearm, how to use cover and concealment, and how to make quick decisions under stress. Develop a property defense plan. Know your sight lines, identify potential cover positions, and have a communication plan with family members. Practice your plan regularly so everyone knows what to do if something happens. Look, rural property defense is a serious topic that requires serious consideration. The firearm that's right for your neighbor might be completely wrong for your situation. You need to honestly assess your property, your threats, your capabilities, and your local laws before making a decision. And whatever you choose, make sure you train with it regularly. Understand the legal implications of using it, and have a plan for how you'll employ it if needed. The best firearm in the world won't help you if you don't know how to use it effectively when it matters. And hey, if this information was helpful, Smash that like button and let me know in the comments what type of property you're defending and which option makes the most sense for your situation. I read every comment, and your real-world experiences help other viewers make better decisions.